Jacob made a meal and he knew he had a deal. When Esau saw the soup, Esau saw the soup. Jacob made a meal and he knew he had a deal. When Esau saw the soup.
Jacob and Esau, Genesis 25:19-34. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah. The years went by, but Rebekah did not have any babies. She was barren. So Isaac asked God to bless them with children. The Lord heard Isaac's prayer, and soon Rebekah became pregnant. She didn't know it at first, but God gave her twin boys.
Hi, I'm Rebecca and I have twin baby boys.
Rebekah didn't know it at first, but God gave her twin boys. Before they were born, the two babies struggled inside her womb. That made Rebekah a little nervous, so she prayed to the Lord to ask him what was happening. The Lord said to her, "2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other. The older shall serve the younger." When the boys were born, they were very different. The first boy had red hair all over his body, so they named him
Esau,
which means hairy. Right behind him was his brother, holding on to Esau's heel. They named him
Jacob,
which means heel grabber. It seemed he was trying to keep his brother from being born first. Esau grew up and became a hunter, a man of the outdoors. Jacob was quiet and preferred to stay at home. As they grew older, Isaac loved his son Esau and the meat from the animals he hunted. Rebekah loved her son Jacob, who spent time with her around the tents. One day, Jacob was at home cooking a stew, while Esau was out in the field. When Esau came home, he was very tired. He saw the red stew his brother was making and said,
"Let me have some of that red stew, for I am exhausted."
Jacob made Esau a deal.
"If you sell me your birthright, I will give you this bowl of stew."
The birthright was a very special honor that belonged to the firstborn son. It meant that he would have a greater inheritance when his father died. But Esau didn't care. He told Jacob,
"What good does the birthright do me if I am dead?"
Jacob challenged him to make an oath to keep his promise. Esau was so hungry that he foolishly agreed and sold his birthright to Jacob for a piece of bread and a bowl of stew. Did you know that this story is told again in the New Testament? Paul told the Romans that it was God's plan for Esau to serve his younger brother Jacob in Romans 9:11-12. God wanted everyone to know that he didn't have to follow the traditions of man and choose the oldest son. In fact, even before they were born, God planned to use Jacob to continue the covenant he made with Isaac. That way, everyone would know that God's choice wasn't based on Jacob's good works, but on God's mercy. The same is true for us. When God saves us through Jesus, it's all by his grace. It's not based on who we are or what we have done.
God knew the older son would serve the younger son. Rebekah felt the children struggling inside her and was concerned. She wanted to know why this was happening. God said she was carrying twins who would grow up to become 2 nations, and that the older twin would serve the younger. Rebekah came to God in faith, believing that he knows all things and controls all things. God does not always answer our why questions this directly, but he did here for Rebekah. In doing this, he made her faith grow stronger. Rebekah's sons continued the fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham, Rebekah's father-in-law.
God blessed Isaac with twin boys. Just as God had said, Rebekah had twin boys.
She would have known they were boys because God had said they would be 2 nations, and in her day only men could lead a nation. Also, normally the son who was born first would be the leading son, but God said the younger son would be the leader. So Rebecca probably also knew her sons would be very different from each other.
How does today's Bible story fit into God's greater plan of redemption?
Romans 9, verses 8 through 15 say, "This means that it is not the children of the flesh who are the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted as offspring. For this is what the promise said, about this time next year I will return and Sarah will have a son. And not only so, but also when Rebekah had conceived children by one man, our forefather Isaac, though they were not yet born and had done nothing either good or bad, in order that God's purpose of election might continue, not because of works, but because of him who calls. She was told, the older will serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. What shall we say then? Is there injustice on God's part? By no means. For he says to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion."
Why did God tell Rebecca that her oldest son was so the youngest son?
Here in the book of Romans, God gives us the answer. God wanted to show that he controls everything. By choosing the meeker, younger son over the firstborn, stronger son, God was showing us that he didn't need man's strength to accomplish his plans. In the end, God wanted everyone to see that his people are saved by our faith in God alone, not because of when we were born or because of anything we do. God does not save us because we are strong or because we were born first. We are saved by faith, trusting in God's plan. And even our faith is a gift God gives to us. The most important part of God's plan to save us was the death of his son Jesus upon the cross, who died to take our sins away.
Can I be good enough to get into heaven?
Why would Esau give his birthright away?
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another lesson.
Did you know